Hey guys, welcome to Comic Book Club. I'm Alex.
I'm Justin.
I'm Pete.
And we're going to do some audience questions for you guys this time.
Yes!
Stuff that you guys have written into the Comic Book Club at yahoo.com. So let's go to the questions.
Let's go to the middle.
Oscar asks, hi guys, since I heard they're going to make a live-action series about Robin, kind of like Smallville, which if they do, it's going to suck.
Agreed.
My question is, if you could make a live-action series from a comic book, which one would you choose?
Well, I mean, really, you got to go with your favorites. You want to see your favorites, and
Yeah.
I'm going to say that I think there should be a live-action Starman series.
there it is.
Shocker.
Which
I
would
think
be
there should be
great.
a live-action Cypher series.
That's ridiculous.
That's great. It could be sponsored by the Library of Congress.
I think they should do.
Sponsor stuff.
They should do a live-action Hulk starring Lou Ferrigno. It would do great.
Wow,
Really
that's a great,
good
that's a great
original
idea.
Yeah.
It's really smart, really forward-thinking.
Think about it, because they would just have to put green makeup on.
Well,
It's
seriously
already
though,
so big.
let's talk about like the Smallville. For those of you who don't know, the idea is that they're going to series where it's young Dick Grayson before he meets Batman, traveling around with the Flying Grayson solving mysteries.
And here's
But
the thing. Here's the thing.
it's
You're
not
like, you're
Flying Grayson.
thinking like, oh, perfect, a circus like mystery show. No circus.
Yeah, no circus.
Apparently, they're not going to have the circus aspect of it.
So, thinking about that, if you take the Smallville idea of like young Clark Kent or the Robin idea of young Dick Grayson,
Yeah.
what would work there? What do you think would be good? Could you do a young Wonder Woman show? Probably not. But actually, here's one you could do. What about Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane?
True.
Oh,
Well,
that's
I
it.
mean,
Or
that's
something
kind
in
of.
that
I mean, the
role.
movies are kind of doing that. I mean, Spider-Man's very
High
much in the
school?
public eye.
But high school focused on Mary Jane. So you don't have to spend as much money on the special effects.
Who's your audience then? It's basically. So you're doing Felicity. You're doing a Felicity series.
So therefore,
Where there's
the
a
audience-
creepy guy
the
with
audience
glasses
is
in the
me.
background. Yeah, exactly.
You're talking
Huge
about
Felicity.
Why don't you
fan.
do
Love
Buffy? That would be a great live action.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with this is shows like Smallville and the Graysons are, like, make me, as a comic fan, hurt a little bit. Because
Yeah.
they're taking these great ideas, great characters and properties, and, like, making them
Ruined.
so mainstream and teeny bopper.
The
that
thing
it
is,
kills me.
I don't care about the beginnings of stuff, frankly. Like, I don't need to see a prequel because I know where it ends up. I'd rather see an original story or at least an adaptation of a story that's really well done. Something like Runaways would be good.
Right.
Or Blue Beetle series. That would be a lot of fun
Yeah,
as
that would be
well.
Yeah.
great. They did a really.
Yeah.
Speaking of young, that would
Here's
be
the thing,
good.
it's got to be able to apply to the mainstream. Like, what comic book property can really move in that direction? Like, Blue Beetle, you're like, it's too much because, like, Scarab, Armor,
Yeah.
like, all that. It's,
That's
it's
why
a
I
lot
think
of
something
fun.
like Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane could do really well. There hasn't really been a Spider-Man TV series in a very long time.
True, and
Other
it's
than the
very,
cartoon series.
it is very basic.
I would say, I mean, obviously, the real answer here is having a young Wolverine. Like, watching him just, like, rip
I
animals
real
thought, I thought for a second you were going to say a young Punisher.
Yeah.
This sort of thing. You'd be like, those guns look interesting. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, let's talk about dating.
Yeah, what we need is a show where young people go after guns, right? I think that's what the
Yeah.
networks are really
No,
calling.
but a young Wolverine series actually is a totally reasonable, totally interesting idea.
Yeah.
I rest my case.
All right,
Um,
let's move
but,
on.
Man, he
But
won.
realistically, if we didn't have to do the young thing, I've been so impressed with 12 Lately. I would think that it would be a really good show.
No one on Earth would watch that.
That's true.
People
And-
barely even read the comics.
It's an interesting idea, but I also agree with Justin. Okay, Ryan asks, so why do you guys not review or even talk about this run of Legion of Superheroes that is going on right now? You have something in your throat?
Oh,
Is it food? It is written by Jim Shooter and penciled by Francis Matapool, an all-star team that is not disappointed. I only started reading the Legion since the story arc started, but now I'm hooked. The story is so amazing and the art is fantastic. So guys, what is the deal? Have you been distracted by Final Crisis and Secret Invasion so you missed this great comic? Well, first of all, I'll say we have not been distracted by Final Crisis and Secret Invasion because there's hardly enough story there to distract us.
Indeed.
Oh,
Oh, burn.
whoa.
Triple burn.
But I'm going to turn this over to Justin. Hit it.
Ryan is obviously Jim Shooter writing this in, giving big ups to his terrible Legion series. This
If you
series...
take the letters in Ryan and rearrange them, they spell Jim Shooter.
Exactly. Figure that out,
I
mathematicians.
actually don't think that spells that.
I'll show you.
we'll check the facts in the edit, in post. This Legion of Superhero series, he took all of the fun parts of it that were going on both in the most recent series he took over and all the ones that happened before, the Legionnaires series, from years ago and just made them boring, political, stale, tired, a series of adjectives that I could say that are bad. And it's hard because these characters, Jeff Johns is taking these characters and elevating them, and then you look to the flagship Legion of Superheroes title, and they're being dragged down by all this weighty nonsense. And the series has since been canceled because no one's reading it. So, I'm sorry. That's why we haven't been talking about it. And it breaks my heart because I love the Legion. Love the Legion.
I would just like to say, Ryan, thanks for writing in.
I would say, Brian, if you think this is good, you should go back and read Mark Waid's run, the first 2 volumes. So good, you're going to be like, oh, I was wrong.
Or you can just read. You get to read some other,
and maybe you like it even better.
Yeah.
And go back and read the Legionnaire series that happened right before Zero Hour. I think Zero Hour kicked in around like in the 20s of the series. Go back and issue 1 of that series and pick it up. It's great.
All right, Matt asks, I know Alex loves John Romita Jr., and the guy has a lot of fans, but I have to say, I don't get it. His art is so square and block-shaped, like Lego people, it makes my eyes want to bleed. What is the big deal with him? Do Justin and Pete like him? Also, what artists are you guys loving right now, and on which books?
I think Matt may have some sort of hantavirus if his eyes are bleeding.
Well, yeah, I think Matt needs to get something about Legos, maybe trigger something from his childhood.
Here's the deal. I feel like John Romita Jr. over the course of his career has only gotten better as an artist. I can understand, actually, what you're saying about not liking him. He has a very stylized look, but I feel like he can draw so many different types of things. You can see things like the Eternal series that he worked on recently with Neil Gaiman. Is incredible, just space adventure, giant celestials. The splash pages in there were incredible. And then you look back at his more recent work on Amazing Spider-Man before his current run with Dan Slott, I would say, the stuff that he did back with JMS, I think is also amazing, fun, action, definitive Spider-Man art. I just think it's great.
And he is very much a golden age artist. Like, he's a modern golden age artist. Like, it's very Kirby-esque. Like, he's bringing the Kirby feel to like our current age of comics, and that's why a lot of people like his work.
That being said, I feel like, and I've said this to you guys before, I feel like his current work on Amazing Spider-Man is not the best. So if that's what you're basing this on, look back at some of his other stuff.
I think that, Matt, what you're saying is maybe you like more detailed stuff, like maybe a Jim Lee type of art where it's really detailed. I feel like what I like about John Romita Jr. is he doesn't make everybody so perfect and so well shaped. He kind of pushes it out a little bit and uses his art to kind of like tell who the person is and what they're about, which I can appreciate because I read a ton of comics, so when something's a little different, I appreciate it more. Some of the stuff that I'm really liking right now, the Omega, the Unknown, the art in that was unbelievable. And
very stylized.
Also very stylized. But like I said, it's just what people are really into. Jim Lee is a very detailed artist who I also very much enjoy.
I've been liking Michael Gaydos' stuff. Chris Bachalo, he's been around for years, but I always like his stuff as long as it's not too convoluted.
Yeah.
The guy that did the Angel series, which is super specific.
Amazing.
Very stylized, but really great. Really neat.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I've been gravitating more towards. I think rather than more realistic art, I think things that exaggerate in some way, like the Angel series, or maybe that's another reason that I like John Romita Jr. a little bit. It emphasizes the qualities rather than the specifics.
Yeah, it's comic booky. It's putting a flag into what we're doing, which is comic book art.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for your questions. As we've told you,
seriously, thanks for writing.
We get tons and tons of questions from you guys. We try to pick out the ones to talk about. We try to get to everything and answer it. Sometimes we can't always do that in a timely manner, but please keep writing us.
Every time we get an email, an angel gets its wings.
Write us at thecomicbookclub@yahoo.com. You can also comment right below this video.
Great job.
Check out our blog at popcultureshock.com/cbclub. And
if you're ever in New York on a Tuesday, 8 o'clock, come and see us at the Pit live show. It's a lot of fun. You could win $25 gift certificate in Midtown Comics.
See you next time.